Welcome to the Holistically Humble Podcast. I'm your host, Katie, a registered holistic nutritionist, a yoga teacher, and a wellness enthusiast passionate about helping you thrive. This podcast is your space to explore holistic health, nervous system regulation, mindful living, and all of the tools that empower you to create balance in your body, mind, and soul. Whether you're here to deepen your wellness journey, find inspiration, or discover practical tips to live a healthier, more intentional life, you are in the right place, my friend. My mission is to simplify wellness, spark a meaningful conversation, and help you reconnect with your authentic self. Let's dive in and create a life that feels as good as it looks. Welcome to the Holistically Humble community. How are you doing today? No, seriously, I want you to ask yourself, how are you doing? Check in with yourself, how you feel mentally and physically and emotionally and maybe spiritually. Like, when do you often do that? And I like to do this when I guide you through either a meditation or at the beginning of the yoga practice that I'm guiding you through, because we don't often check in with ourselves. We just wake up, probably to an alarm, go through the day, probably do the same things every single day. So it becomes monotonous. It's the same repetitive pattern. And then you go to bed at night and you wake up and repeat it. And so this is just an invitation for you to have a moment to pause and check in with how you're doing today. If I'm being dead freaking honest, Holistically Humble, that is why I called my business name Holistically Humble, because I want to keep it real. I want to keep it for fucking real. Can we see the bump here? If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see the bump. It's bumping. But anyways, this is where my brain goes. If I'm being honest, I'm feeling tired today. I'm recording this podcast episode on a Monday and I'm putting it out on a Wednesday. And so I don't know, it was my birthday on Friday. So I just celebrated my 35th birthday. And it's honestly interesting because both me and my partner are in Aries. He's near the end of March and I'm like middle of April. So it's really funny, but I think we connect really well as soon as we understood like that fiery side to each other. And there's a difference between like a March Aries and an April Aries, in my opinion. And so my birthday was on Friday and it was a statutory holiday, which literally I can't, like, I'm going to say it has never happened in my life where my birthday fell on a Friday and it was a statutory holiday. So I got paid for being off and it was my birthday. It was luxurious. I am not going to lie. And I did it. I had the best day ever doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do. And then on Saturday, yeah, I just had like a chill weekend. So Friday was completely off. I went with the flow. My partner made me had an amazing day. And shout out to those lovely humans who wish me a happy birthday. You know who you are, whether or not that you're following me on social media and you reached out that way, or you sent me a personal text message of like, I don't know, any way that you may have wished me happy birthday. Like, thank you so much. It means so much to me. And I actually shared 35 things for my 35th birthday. And I shared that on my Instagram. So I'm not going to go over it here. Last year, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I shared a full episode on 34 things that I've learned for my 34th trip around the sun. And that's a good podcast listen. Maybe I'll link it down below or you can go back and check that out. It would have been April 2024. But I shared 35 things this year and it was all about like wellness and body, mind, soul, holistic things. Obviously, that's literally what I'm about. So check that out. It was an Instagram post not too long ago and I'm on the beach. I went and watched the sunrise for my birthday. It was a calm day. I went to my favorite beach spot, the same beach spot that I would go every single morning to manifest my dream house. And if you are new here or you are unfamiliar what is going on, I am pregnant and I am also building a house. I am not building it. Thank fucking God for my partner and all of the people who are doing this. Like, oh my God, I'm so freaking grateful for this, but I manifested it and I'm so excited. Anyways, I went to that spot to watch the sunrise, but I also went to a local creamery. They make ice cream there and they make dairy-free ice cream. It's my favorite. I literally am just a plain gal. I love chocolate, but they make this one called Robin's Egg now. So I get a single scoop, which is actually a double scoop, in a gluten-free waffle cone with one scoop of Robin's Egg and one scoop of sea salt chocolate. And it's freaking delicious. And it's pregnancy. You know, my baby's loving it. That's what I say. My baby's loving it. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I'm pregnant and I'm feeling tired. And so today, when I'm recording this podcast episode on a Monday, I'm feeling tired. So that's me checking in with myself and then sharing with you how I'm feeling in hopes that you also check in with yourself. A great way to do this is to sit in a meditation and really have set your timer for 5 minutes to check in with yourself. Journaling is another great thing. Or if you have someone in your life who you feel comfortable talking to things about, maybe that's a sibling, it's a loved one, it's a parent, it's a friend, like anyone in your life, then you can talk it out. But have a moment to check in. This was a long-winded intro to our episode today. I want to talk about how healing is not linear. I feel like this is a good topic to talk about, especially in a long or a podcast style episode, because many people think that healing is like you're starting with point A and you're going to point B and it's just this trajectory upwards. When really it actually looks like you're starting at point A and then you go up to point B and then you go down even lower than point A to C, and then you whoop around, do the loop-de-loop, and then go up high to C and then down even lower to D, and you keep going, and it's just like a scrambled mess. It's a scrambled mess because you know what? You're picking things up as you go along your journey that are resonating with you, that aren't resonating with you, that someone else who has the same condition or thing that you're healing from, it's really benefited them. So you try that, but it actually makes you feel worse. And then you try this other thing and it makes you feel freaking amazing. And then you forget how amazing that thing makes you feel and you stop doing it or stop taking it or whatever it may be. And then you get even worse. And it's just like this jumbled mess. Healing is a jumbled mess. Stay with me here. I wanted to talk about how healing isn't linear and that your wellness is a journey in life. Your wellness journey is a journey. And I got inspired by doing this because honestly, yeah, social media can make you feel like that person's doing it so much better than me. Why am I like this? And it's very comparable, is it comparable? Anyways, that might, no, I don't know. I don't know, but you compare yourself and you think that this person's doing it so good. Why is it not working for me? But they're not showing the real thing. And I think for me too, when I experience flare ups, I kind of just shut down and not want to share. But that is the real thing. And the condition that I have can cause flare ups and it can cause me to feel like absolute shit and not want to share. But I want you to know that I've gone through a million bajillion swoops, loop-de-loops on my healing journey that have got me to where I am today. And I'm grateful for that. And I said this before and I'll say it again. If I were to go back in time and with my diagnosis and having the doctor say, at the rate you're going, you're going to be in a wheelchair by the time you're 30. I was in my early 20s. He was injecting me with a cortisone shot in my ankle when he told me that. And I went headfirst into nutrition. That was the thing that was out in front of me that I was intrigued about and that I was like, hey, if I can do something right now, it is change my diet and learn about the things that I'm putting in and on my body and how that is causing or my system is reacting to this. Okay. If I could go back in time, I would focus for reals on my nervous system and focus there because you can eat the most specific clean diet that you can for whatever condition that you may be suffering with. And it doesn't work because your nervous system is set in fight or flight and you aren't absorbing anything that you're putting into your body. And it's just not good. And so if you really look to focus on your nervous system first, then when you add the healthy foods and eliminate the problematic foods, the inflammatory foods, whatever it might be, add the supplements, your body is going to be able to utilize that to the fullest extent, or to a more better extent than if your nervous system is caught in fight or flight. And so I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, I shared it at my women's circle. I get clients this way because focusing on our nervous system is so important, and it is a huge part of your healing journey in general. So with all of that being said, I invite you to soften any pressure you're carrying, to be further ahead in your healing journey, your wellness journey. So if you're new here, or if you've listened to me a million times tell this story, I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis at 13 years old. It was the worst case that the BC Children's Hospital had seen to that date. I was diagnosed in 2003 because I was 13 years old. And again, the worst case that they had seen. I was told at that time that I would have to stop playing sports, which at that time, sports was my whole freaking identity. All my friends played sports. I played sports. That just was what it was. And that was devastating to me. However, I took everything that was prescribed to me. I was obviously under parental care, and they were seeing my mom and my dad were seeing their child suffer. Like, I couldn't hold a toothbrush, I couldn't open a door, I couldn't dress myself. 13 years old, can't dress myself. That was embarrassing. I could barely walk. Like I would need notes at school to give to my teacher to say I will be late because I can't go from this wing of the school to this wing of the school fast enough in between the bells. Okay. I took everything that was prescribed to me in the Western world, and I was better. I was on hardcore steroids. I was on methotrexate, which is like a form of a chemotherapy as well. Just not very good for me personally. That was not the good thing for me. I did go on it, and it helped me be able to play sports. But you know what it didn't do? No one did this for me. They didn't tell me how to stress manage. They didn't tell me how to change my diet, or that specific foods may be causing inflammation. I didn't dive deeper into trauma or internal family systems, or like nurture my inner child. I didn't do all of these things, right? I just took the Western medical word, the medications, and I was better. And like, I'm grateful for that part of my journey. It got me to the next step. Okay. I was able to play sports. And then in my early 20s, I hit a wall. I never ate a fruit or vegetable. I can't even remember eating a fruit or vegetable in university, to be honest. I drank every weekend. So I binge drank every weekend, where I would get like completely blackout drunk, and then do and say things that I would wake up in the morning and not even remember doing or saying, but my teammates or friends would tell me what I did or said, and I was like mortified. So I would like internally beat myself up that I was acting this way, that I just like didn't know why or couldn't remember or whatever. And I like, hurt people and offended people. And it was just a horrible, vicious cycle. And so I started flaring up really bad. In my early 20s, I was getting cortisone injections in my larger joints. And it's one specific joint, my left ankle, as I was sitting at the emergency hospital in Vancouver. And the doctor said to me, at the rate you're going, you're going to be in a wheelchair by the time you're 30. And that was my light bulb moment, friends. That was my light bulb moment that I knew things had to change. Fast forward last year, May of 2024, I ran my first half marathon. I am 35. Obviously, my birthday was on Friday, and I'm 35 years old, pregnant, house is being built, walk a lot. I'm not running right now, but I'm walking a lot. I go to the gym 2 to 3 times a week to the best of my ability to do strength training. I do yoga. I practice meditation. I take supplements. I eat really well for my body. And that's taken a lot of time, a lot of trial and error. But that is what drives me to be here, to talk to you on this podcast, to share on my social media, that you just need to start. You just need to start something along your healing journey and know that you can't be as far along as someone else, or that your journey is not the same as someone else's. It will not look the same as someone else's. So getting rid of that comparable aspect that we all have, we all do it, right? You look at someone else and think, fuck, they have it so much better than me, but we have no idea what's going on. Maybe they're so depressed, or maybe they hate themselves. Maybe like you have no idea what's going on with other people. And so the real focus should be on yourself and your own healing journey. So I said it earlier on, but healing is not linear. It's not a point A, nice increased trajectory to point B, you're healed, and that's where you stay. Okay. It can feel like you take 2 steps forward and then 1 step back, and 3 steps forward, 1 step back, 5 steps forward, 10 steps back. It's a glob, a messy glob of how you get there. And it is just a journey. There's no destination to this. It's going to constantly change. Your healing journey is going to constantly change. There's going to be things that come up that you're faced with, that you need to readjust, pivot, redirect, learn something new. You know, it just isn't linear. And when I say it's not linear, I will share that when I was taking the holistic nutrition program, I took it at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition in Vancouver. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment that was literally filled with mold. Now that I'm looking back, I'm like, oh my God, it was so filled with mold. I lived in 2 places in Vancouver. Both places were filled with mold, okay? Black mold. And that just was what it was. They were older places that I was living in. And at the time, I wasn't like, it just was what it was. There was no like me thinking, oh my gosh, there's black mold. It could be causing me health issues. And so I was taking the holistic nutrition program. I was learning all I could about what to put in and on your body, the different systems, how they're acting, reacting, all of these things, and implementing everything I could about rheumatoid arthritis that like resonated with me or that I learned about or whatever. And I was fucking flaring up. Like I was so bad. The second place I lived was with a roommate, and I had Bruce, my mini Australian Shepherd at the time, and I couldn't even take him for walks because it was so swollen. My ankles were so swollen, my knees were so swollen, and I remember one time just like breaking down and being like, "Can you take my dog for a walk, because like I can't do it right now." And that was mortifying to me. So I felt like this living in this duality of learning all of these amazing things and being a sponge and learning about mind, body, spirit, and a holistic approach and all of these things, and implementing and doing the best I could on nutrition, supplements, learning and leaning into a little bit of the lifestyle component, which led me to yoga. But I was getting worse. I was getting worse. And that's just to show you that, again, you could be nourishing your body in the best way that you know how, or you're learning how to, taking supplements, trying to be active, doing all of these things, but living in an environment filled with mold. Like, hello, that's obviously in my body, and that's obviously taking over. And, it's just, it caused me to have flare ups. It caused me to take steps back. It wasn't linear. And I was so depressed. I was so, so depressed. And then you could see me now and be like, well, in your eyes, the listener, she's thriving, right? But like, I had to go through those things in order to get to where I am today and make the shifts and changes. I want to normalize that these are the things that you might be going through that might not be the quote unquote perfect way that you want to be doing things, feeling things, all of those. They're not signs of failure. They're just part of the process. Progress over perfection. So, with all of this being said, I want you to think about your own healing journey and how it most likely isn't linear, because that's just not the way it goes, my friend. I want you to think about your own healing journey And I want you to celebrate the wins. So whether or not you have an actual pen to paper journal and you celebrate the wins, maybe you do this on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis. I recommend the weekly basis is like a good, medium there, because daily can be a little bit too much. Type A people might want to do that. Monthly might feel like I don't even remember what happened yesterday. So you can't even write the wins down because, it all conglomerates into one. You just can't really remember, right? What you did. What did you have for dinner last night, right? But weekly would be nice. I would say, like, maybe a Sunday, you could write down some wins that were going on, because in our mind, we tend to focus on the negative. We realize what's going negative. We want to focus on that versus actually celebrating the wins that may happen. So, for example, maybe you have migraines and you get them on a weekly basis, okay? Or headaches. And you notice that week that you didn't have one migraine, or that you didn't have a migraine on Tuesday. And you think back, okay, what did I do on Tuesday? What did I do on Monday? And you just write down the wins. Try to dig a little bit deeper into what you did to have that experience, and letting go of the shoulds or the timeline on when you need to be fixed or well or healed. Let it go day by day, show up, do the work, and celebrate your win. And then I would love if you shifted your mindset from being curious versus judgmental about your body's signals. Get curious. Your body is fucking magical. And whether you want to believe this or not, your body is working so hard on the daily basis to be in homeostasis, which is balance. It is not trying to attack your own cells. It is trying to be in balance. Remember that. So sometimes when you're on your healing journey, you can absolutely feel discouraged, like what you're doing isn't working. And I wanted to touch on this subject. Some things that you could do when you are feeling discouraged is focusing on your nervous system regulation. Again, if I could go back in time, I would start right there with that. But you know what? You can start today, right? You can start today and work on it and do the best you can. So nervous system regulation, I would look into breath work, even just taking long, deep breaths in and out through the nose. Cleansing breath would be in through the nose, out through the mouth. Diaphragmatic breathing, 3-part breath, box breathing. Those are great suggestions. Another great thing that you can do for your nervous system regulation is to ground yourself. So putting your bare feet on the earth is going to be extremely beneficial for regulating your nervous system. And if you've never done this before, just literally walk outside if you can, have access to it, and put your bare feet on the grass. Start there. Another thing that you can do is journaling or visualizing your why. Like, why are you doing this? What are you wanting to heal? What does your wellness journey and your healing journey look like? Visualize your why. Reconnecting with nature. Nature is so important in healing and grounding and all of the beautiful, amazing things. So definitely getting connected to nature, going outside for walks, going to a body of water, the lake, river, ocean, something like that would be great. Hiking a mountain, going into the forest, those kinds of things. Walking along the beach would be awesome. This one's easier said than done. And it's something that I have navigated and worked a lot at and consistently work at, is listening to your own intuition versus outside noise. And so my connection to my intuition is right above my belly button. It's a couple inches above my belly button. It's like that gut instinct. And that if I think about something quickly, I go right to the gut and it's a yes or no, typically. And if I do it any longer than a couple seconds, the brain's going to go and you're just going to like start to listen to that outside noise or the noise in your head. Actually, as a side note, I watched a TikTok the other day who said, this girl was explaining the fact that we should name our brain. And it sounds funny, right? But she was like, I name my brain Becky. So when Becky is starting to like ramble on about all this like craziness or bullshit, I'm just like, Becky, no. Or Becky, shut up. Or whatever you need to do. And so I've named and she said no harm to anyone named Becky. And I named my brain Samantha. just recently when I watched this TikTok. And so again, no harm to anyone named Samantha. It was just the name that came to me listening to my intuition, right? So you just go, Samantha, no, not right now. Thanks. Or like whatever. And so just as a side note, if that resonates, take it, use it yourself. Let me know what you're naming your brain. And this one is so important. If you're on your healing journey, your wellness journey, you need to surround yourself with people who are going to expand you and who are going to lift you up, not put you down or not push you to go towards your goal, which is healing, wellness, whatever it is, and not just be like, oh, you're tired today, don't do the meditation. Oh, you're tired today, don't go on that walk in nature. It's like, no, I need you to actually say to me, you need to do this. You have a goal, and I'm going to push you gently and lovingly to go do that X, Y, and Z thing that's going to make you take a few steps further on your health and wellness journey, your healing journey. I'd love to remind you that you are not alone. You are not alone in this journey, okay? If you are in a tough season, know that you are not alone. You can reach out to me. You could reach out to a friend, a family member. There's even like anonymous phone lines that you can call and talk to someone about this. Seek out help. Do not do this alone. Healing is possible. I want to be clear. Healing is possible, and no one can heal you but you. You have to do the work. You can go see a nutritionist. They can give you the tools, the recommendations, but you have to do it. That's what I start every consultation with is like, I can't heal you, but I can give you the tools to support you along your health and wellness, your healing journey. You have to do that. You have to show up for yourself every single day and do the work. I would love to leave you with a mantra that you can repeat over and over. And it can be these three, or it can just be one of them. I am safe. I am enough. I am loved. I am safe. I am enough. I am loved. So now, why don't you spend some time here thinking about what season of your healing journey are you in? I recommend after this episode, which is coming to a close here, so thank you for listening, to journal it out. See where you're at. See where you want to go. Get in touch. I started this episode with asking how you felt mentally, physically, and emotionally. And now you can dive deeper into where you're at, where you want to go. Visualize your why. Write down your why. I will leave you with that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I feel like sometimes I black out when I'm talking and I just go for it. And I feel like this made a lot of sense, but I obviously, if I posted it, it did. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. You can follow me on social media. I'll link all my social media down below in the show notes. Send me a message. Take a screenshot that you listen to this and share it with some friends or family. Tag me. And if you haven't already, like, rate, review, subscribe, follow, all of those things helps this podcast get out to more people. Until next time, be well, nourish yourself, regulate your nervous system, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace, love, and avocados.